Jai Bhim, Jai Mulyavasi, Jai Savidhan, Jai Bharat. Welcome you all to MNT News Network special primetime session. Today is Sunday, and as you all of you know, every Sunday we are organizing the special session in English, whereas all rest of the days we are organizing in Hindi. So considering the entire South India mass as well as the NRIs, we had dedicated Sunday the topic in discussion in English. And as all of you know, this is the month of November, and the November month, 25th and 26th of November, it has its own significance because Dr. Vasab Ambedkar in the Constituent Assembly gave the Constitution because after independence in 15th August 1947, it was decided to have a constitution to rule the country, and that responsibility was given to a committee, and Dr. Ambedkar played a very significant role in this Constitutional Assembly. And finally, on 26th November 1949, it was given to the independent India. But on the last day of this Constitutional Assembly debates, 25th of November, Dr. Ambedkar had given a speech related to the adoption of this Constitution, Indian Constitution, and he had given a very elaborate speech giving the importance of the Constitution and various warnings also. He had given this particular speech. So this is a very, very historical speech. And today we are going to discuss about his speech on 20th of November 1949, what he had said in this particular speech and how he had warned if anything goes wrong. So the topic that we are going to discuss is Dr. Babasaheb Ambedkar's last speech in the Constitution Assembly on adoption of the Indian Constitution. And today we had along with us Dr. Anandu Raj, who is a writer, critic, and Ambedkarite from Kerala. And yeah, today he is going to elaborate on this particular topic about what he had exactly said and why this speech had become a historical speech, and still today how it has its own validity. So without wasting time, let me welcome Mr. Anandu Raj. Sir, Javim sir, good evening and welcome to MNT News Network Studio.
Yeah, good evening. And
We are very thankful to you for giving your valuable time for our viewers. And as I told, 25th November is approaching and 26th November is approaching. So today we had decided to elaborate more on the particular speech we had given in the Constituent Assembly on 25th of November, because it is considered that this speech is a very, very historical speech, and he had given multidimensional thinking vision through his speech, and also various warnings he had given. Specifically, as we know, the contributions made by Dr. B.R. Ambedkar to the foundational beginnings of the Indian nation after 1947 certainly attest to the fact that the father of the Indian Constitution lived up to the standard. And as this 25th November is approaching, today we are going to discuss about his particular speech, his address, which Dr. Ambedkar presents his justification for the Constitution in terms of the process undertaken to draft it, as well as in its final form, how it had came to the final form. So notably, definitely, Dr. Ambedkar also goes on outlines certain standards that have to be necessarily adhered to it, to if India is to progress as a nation, and he had also defined what nation is. What emerges from the content of his speech is the picture of his visionary ideas, who was wise enough to warn the country of the pitfall of taking its independence for granted. Sir, specifically, I will hand over the studio to you to explain our viewers what exactly he had given in his speech, and how he had covered various aspects of adoption of the Indian Constitution after the independence of India. Sir, please, sir.
Jai Bhim to all. And I'm super happy and very proud to be here. And I'm really happy that you invited me for this speech. About the topic, if we come directly to the topic, it is, the selection of this topic is very appreciable, because it is a situational one. The situation demands a conversation on this topic, or a debate, or a discussion on this particular speech, because this speech contains the essence of the constitution itself, if you ask me. Uh, India's current political situation actually demands the discussion of this topic. Many of the things Dr. B.R. Ambedkar said in this speech has become or becoming true or becoming, controversial during now and at our times. So, if you ask me, or my personal opinion is that this speech is one of the main thing we have to discuss during these times, these very problematic, very constitution defiling times. So it is very. I'm very honored. I'm very happy and proud to be invited here. So this speech about this speech on the adoption of the constitution. The speech contains, like I said before, the constitution, the essence of the constitution itself. It opens up the constitution itself. That is what the constitution aims for, or what the constitution demands, or what the constitution is put constitution has put forward. Everything is placed, or it is actually he shrinked the whole idea into this speech, if you ask me. So if we take this particular speech, we can see many things. He is addressing many things. He, as the chair mentioned earlier, he says some warnings. He answers the critiques of many people against the Constitution Assembly and the Drafting Committee in this speech. He underlines the significance of this Constitution. He, defines what the nation is. He defends in this speech about the future. He argues why they built this constitution and many other things in this speech. So, as a matter of fact, it is very crucial to understand, to analyze this speech, to understand Dr. B.R. Ambedkar himself or the constitution itself. So that's why I've said earlier that the selection of this topic is very appreciable. If you take the speech, we can see it is divided into many parts. He doesn't divide it like that, but if you analyze the speech, we can see him critically engaging, or Ambedkar engaging with many things inside this speech. So I come to the conclusion that we can analyze it differently, what he says and what he said in the speech, about what he said in the speech. In the first part of the speech, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar actually, he says about the struggles they have struggled for writing the constitution itself, what they have done for the past 2-3 years, or 1 to 2 years for making the constitution, about the articles they introduced, the reviews they have done, and everything. If he takes, he says about the struggles the drafting committee has faced from the critics and also from inside the Constitution Assembly itself. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar mentions facts that the Assembly, about the facts that the Assembly have gone through during these writing times, what they have gone through these times, and he then gone to congratulate, and he wishes, and he's thanking everyone who supported the Constituent Drafting Committee. And later on, he moves to the core part, which I think is a core part. He then starts with the critics. After that, after congratulating, after elaborating the struggles, he then addresses the critics on the constitution. The first one was against Mr. Nazaruddin Ahmad. Nazaruddin Ahmad actually felt the drafting committee is a drifting committee, that it drifts from its its job. Its job was to secure a constitution for the country which is going to be independent, which is going to be free, which is going to be a new nation. And the Nasruddin Ahmad has criticized the Constituent Assembly and the drafting committee that it is drifting away from the the job it has to they were about to do. I mean, though that job they were drifting away from the job of drafting the constitution. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar replies to him that it is not the drafting committee, and he mentions about the different constitution assemblies around the world, about the drafting of the Constitution of America, about the drafting of the Constitution of the Constitution of Canada, Australia, etc., and he mentions the peculiarities of our Constitution, the peculiarities of our social situation, the peculiarities and the number of articles they have included, the number of which is very far more than the articles there are in other countries' constitution. Also, he mentions about the struggles they faced while drafting this, because we had many amendments, like about 2,000 plus amendments to review during the drafting committee, and he argues why he states, or he opens up why they have taken about 1.5 years or 2 years for completing the constitution. After that, he went to congratulate certain personaries, also the committee itself, and certain persons or people which he congratulated personally. One of which is Sir Alladi Krishnasamy Iyer, who has helped the Constitution Assembly, he actually congratulates Sir Alladi Krishnasamy Iyer for reposing in himself, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar himself, and trusting himself with the drafting of the Constitution. Also, he then went and congratulated Sir B.N. Rao. B.N. Rao is actually was also a jurist and diplomat who represented India in the United Nations Security Council from 1950 to 1952. So he was the one who had partly advised the Constitution Assembly in drafting the Constitution. So Dr. Ambedkar himself personally personally sends his regards, or personally says his regards to B.N. Rao in the following speech. After that, he mentions many names, including the critics of the drafting or the critics of the Constitution itself inside the Constitution Assembly. He then, thanks these critics that without the critics, we couldn't have, refurbished or reformed the Constitution itself. So it shows how democratic was Dr. B.R. Ambedkar was. He shows the how he sees things, how he takes the critics, and what a person he was. And finally, he is thanking Mr. President of the India, which was Rajendra Prasad. He was the president of the drafting committee also, and not the drafting committee, Constituent Assembly also. So he thanks the president of the Constituent Assembly, Mr. Rajendra Prasad, and when he went into congratulating or thanking the Congress Party for helping to maintain a decorum inside the Constituent Assembly. After this congratulating, or after this replying part, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar went into the core of the speech, which is he mentions about the condemnation of the Constitution Assembly, largely the condemnation of the Constitution by Communist Party of India and Socialist Party. Why they are against the Constitution? He says that in this speech, that the Communist Party wants a Constitution based upon the principle of the dictatorship of the proletariat, and that is why they condemn. He says that is why they condemn the Constitution itself. the constitution is based on the parliamentary democracy, and they are against it because of this dictatorship idea of of communist party. And then he then particularly engages the socialists that they too doesn't want this constitution, because what they want is that if they come to power, the constitution must give them the freedom to nationalize or socialize all private property without payment of compensation, which was against the constitution itself, which was against the constitution they drafted. Ambedkar and the other assembly members drafted. So he then opens the double standards of socialists and communists. And I think after this part comes the core of the constitution itself. The core, or the idea which that the constitution gives as a democratic constitution, comes in the next part. That there is a single statement which Ambedkar says that every generation is a new nation. I'm mentioning this particular statement because it struck me very well, because this is one of the very democratic statements I have ever heard in my entire life. I don't think anyone now itself says a statement like this. So there are many critics against Dr. B.R. Ambedkar himself, that he was a structuralist and all. And personally, if someone says that to me, I would say no to that, because this statement itself shows that how democratic Ambedkar was, how post-structuralist he was, or post-modernist he was. He had this idea that people will evolve, the ideas will evolve, the value systems will change, and when a new generation arises, there will be a new idea. So, according to that, the constitution should change, or the idea about equality should change, the idea about fraternity should change, or the idea about everything should change. Dr. Ambedkar mentions this particular statement to show that the constitution itself is a democratic one, that it will change according with the time. That's why we can amend things nowadays. However, that democratic space has done much worse than what that good things, like the EWS in the current scenario. The new amendment has, went diverge the past with the constitutional morality the constitution upholds, and amends this EWS, which is against the constitutional morality itself. And this is because this happened because only of the democratic position of the constitution. There are loopholes because constitution is a democratic setup that we can alter it or we can evolve it according to the situation. However, the power structures are always with this upper caste or the oppressor caste. So they have used this democratic. They have used this badly. If you refer it, their intent, their malicious intent was injected into this democratic space, and they poisoned it, if you ask me. So the main core point in this speech, according to me, is this statement that every generation is a new nation, that defines what a nation is, how a nation will be, and it crossed path with the idea of a nation in which Benedict Anderson put forward and everything. So after that, he comes to some certain problematic positions or problematic things that were indulged in the constitution itself. One of them is federalism. We have recent debates about this federalism all over India. You know that the recent conflicts between the Kerala government and the governor of Kerala is a perfect example for the confusion about the federalism, or it started the debate or discussion on federalism. Now, but if we see the speech, Ambedkar, if we see this speech, we can see that these criticisms or these debates had at that time itself there were debates about these topics, and Ambedkar had answered for these critics at that time itself. However, he mentions about or he tells about the basic principle of this federalism in this speech, which is that the legislative and the executive authority is partitioned between the center and the states, not by any law to be made by the center, but by the constitution itself. This is what the constitution does. Ambedkar tells us about the basic principle of federalism that was intelligent inside the constitution itself. And he again says about the chief mark of federalism, that it lies in the partition of the legislative and executive authority between the center and the units by the constitution. And he's saying that it is the principle embodied in our constitution. There can be no mistake about it. He's pretty sure about what they have written about federalism. As you all know, the federalism, the amending or the intelligence of the federalism was because of the societal or political situation of the India at that time. And Ambedkar knew that, in the future itself, there will be problems regarding provincialism. Every province will want themselves to be the head of their state, or they want to be a certain particular or different nation. So Ambedkar knew that it will create chaos inside the nation and it will break the nation into pieces. So he introduced this federal system of federal system, which is different, of course, different from the American federal system. We have a system that there are powers partitioned between center and state. However, there is a certain power for the center to intervene inside states, because without that, every state will have their own power structures, their own provincial power bodies, provincial caste, so-called oppressor caste bodies. So there will be a concentrated power working inside every province. So it is better to intervene to allow the intervention of the center inside states for a better working of the state. But the federalism Ambedkar mentioned was a coordination type of federalism. But what we see now is a combative style of federalism with competing state and center competing itself, conflicting itself. So that's another thing, another question that we should answer. However, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar says about the federal systems of how the federal system should be, what a federal system is inside this speech. And after that, he then takes us to the position that what a citizen is and what a nation should be, how a citizen should be. In Ambedkar's idea, a citizen should be the power maker inside this constitution, and he should follow the constitutional methods rather than the bloody methods in which the Communist Party or any other revolutionary party put forward. So that only that we can live as a nation, as a whole nation. So that was a part Ambedkar actually stumbled there, and he starts a new thing in the next section, which is a republic of contradictions. He then argues about. He then says about the problems we are going to face in the future. These were his warnings. If we can take it as warnings, or we can say it as his fears. He feared that the future would stumble. Hello, can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes, please go ahead.
Hello.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Am I audible?
Please go ahead. Yes, you are audible.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay. So in this next section, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar says that he then says his fear. In this section, there is I was pretty curious and very interesting when he mentioned independence here. According to Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, the independence was not something given by the British to the Indians or the Indians gained. According to him, he meant independence by constitution. That is, with when we get the constitution, he says that the India is getting independence only after getting the constitution. He uses the word independence, or he mentions independence as a metaphor for this constitution itself. He says that we had independence before, and before means not before British, but before the Brahminical powers came to force. He said that there were independence during the Sanghas, when the Buddhist Sanghas were ruling India. There were parliaments, there were Sanghas were parliaments, and there were elections, there were ballots, and there were voting systems and everything during that time. And we lost that independence, and we now gained this independence by drafting a constitution which has fraternity, equality, and liberty as its center. So Ambedkar is saying that is a very particular and curious thing. I've stumbled upon on that. Ambedkar says that we are getting the independence, or we are getting this independence when we are getting this constitution. And Ambedkar, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar himself, and with the drafting, the other members of the drafting committee, with the help of the other members of the drafting committee, they have introduced many things for the upliftment of the people at different stratas of society, upliftment in the basis of power, social upliftment, everything. And Dr. Ambedkar he had this fear that once we may, he just says that he has a fear that in the future that this constitution may, or we will diverge the path with this constitutional morality, which is happening now itself. The EWS, like I said, the EWS is a example for that. We are diverging from the constitutional morality, or what the constitution says, or the essence of. We are very far away from that. We are very far away from the essence constitution put forth. So he had this fear that we will diverge our path from the constitution. We as a nation will diverge a path from the constitution, and it will again gets us into the colonial type of rule, or oligarchical rule, which Brahmanism has done for many years. Ambedkar clearly says that this in this section. He says that within our community, within our nation, people will you do some treacheries against their own people. He has these examples of the Sindh invasion by Muhammad bin Qasim. The military commanders of King Dahl accepted bribes from the agents of Qasim and refused to fight on the side of the king. He quotes many examples like this in his speech, and he feared that the history may repeat itself. We can see that in these sessions, and he says his fears in these sessions with that the democratic system of India will get lost and everything. And in the next section, we can see that he proposes the need for social democracy, how we will attain social democracy. He's saying that in this section, he is saying that even though we have a constitution having the constitutional morality and social democracy, it may not reflect in the society. The society has to change accordingly. We have to use the methods of constitution. We have to live according to the constitutional morality rather than the morality with the Brahmanism in our culture, or any other religious morality. We have to follow the constitutional morality. And Ambedkar say that it will only with that we will reach a social democratic system or country. So he is arguing for a need of social democracy, and he with many examples regarding this. For example, he says about the little solidarity in the USA at the time when they were a nation. When the America became a nation, there were little solidarity. They never accepted that it is a nation. They just said that it is a union of many races or many countries or everything, anything. Uh, like Ambedkar felt that since the caste system exists in our society, we won't be a nation. So a struggle for nationalism is considered as a struggle for the annihilation of caste itself. Ambedkar considers the nationalist the social democratic shift to the nationalism as the annihilation of caste itself. And in these sections, uh, he argues or he states about he tells us about the need for the social democracy and how fraternity should be at the center of the pillar, and how equality should be in accordance with the constitutional morality or constitutional essence of constitution. And he then quotes a quote of Dr. Mr. Abraham Lincoln, that a house divided against itself cannot stand very long. He feared that the caste will tear apart our nation in a future where we don't follow or we don't have a social democracy. So he argues for this social democracy in this speech as well. And he you know he says to the Constitution Assembly or the his audience that he is very happy about the independence, but for recognizing or for becoming a nation, for becoming a social democratic society, he keep on warning the audience that we should follow the constitutional methods, and the government should work according to the constitution, or according what the constitution says, and the people has to remove or recognize the social inequalities in the system, and they should work forward to be a nation. There should not be any class war or caste war with this constitution coming, put forth. So this is a speech. Dr. Ambedkar mentions about the different problems he was facing, the things he was trying to address in the constitution, how the constitution should be, and what should we do, and what are the main things the constitution put forth. I think I have covered his speech within the time limit of like 30 minutes. So thank you. If you have any doubt, please shoot.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. Within a short span of time, you had elaborated the all content of the speech and covered almost all aspects that he wanted to deliver in his speech. And at last, he just said that if things go wrong, we will have nobody to blame but except ourselves. So these words
Yeah.
also were very, very focused way within a small words. He pass on the message that it is your responsibility, it is the citizens' responsibility. Every Indian citizen should protect or should fight for the cause of the constitution to implement it. And if, as
Yeah.
you rightly pointed, if it is compared with today's situation, how relevant or how visionary Dr. Ambedkar was, that
Yeah.
comes forward. So definitely he means as a great personality, his entire personality can be reflected through this speech. Means
Yes. 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 Of course.
thanking from all the efforts that were made by all the members in the Constitutional Assembly, and then even
Yeah. Yeah.
elaborating his speech with various quotes, and also
Yes.
comparing it to various constitution of the world. He explained it
Yes.
very.
Yes.
Sir, we are really thankful to you on giving this information and elaborating the each aspect of his speech to our viewers, sir. At last, sir, we
Yes.
would like to take your message on today's topic. What you would like to convey through this today's session to our viewers, sir.
Two things. I want to say two things. That one is the thing which I have mentioned in my speech itself. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar says that every new generation is a new nation. That is, with every new generation, there comes a new value, new set of value systems, new ideas. So, my humble request to the viewers that you should acknowledge the younger generation, or our younger generations nowadays. and we should focus on their upliftment, how to take them to the heights and everything, and they will lead. They are a future, and they will lead. We will have to work together for that. We'll have to do career guidance and everything to uplift our younger generations to to become the torch bearers in the future. And my another request is that not not according, not about the speech, but we all know that there is a crucial situation happening in the current scenario of Indian judiciary or Indian politics. That is the implementation of the EWS. The Supreme Court has now accepted and agreed with the EWS, which is actually against the constitutional morality, and which is very supportive to the so-called upper caste for their oligarchical rules and their lion's share of the power. It is supportable to them. So I don't think many of the people have acknowledged the problem it may cause in our in the system itself. The Munivasis or the downtrodden classes, the oppressed classes may go even depressed after this. So people should get people should understand about this, and we should strike about against it. We should raise our voices against it. We should create more spaces for talking and raising our voices against this injustice. And we should we should we should take it away. We should stop it. We should strike against it, if you ask me. So please understand about the current political situations. The EWs are the economic weaker section. The upper caste are doing what they are doing. So I request these viewers to strike against it, to argue against it, to raise your voice against it. Thank you.
Yeah. Definitely, sir. Rightly pointed out, and a very good message to the viewers. Definitely, I think our viewers they should think in this particular direction, that whatever Dr. Ambedkar had said during this last speech, how relevant it is, and what is their moral duty at this particular time. And you have given two ways, or two responsibilities of Indian citizens today, and specifically as far as the SC, ST, and OBC and minorities class are concerned, or downtrodden class are concerned. They should think in giving the right education, a right vision to the new generation, the younger generation, and they should also not only think, but also they should oppose if anything is going wrong as per the constitutional moralities, or if anything is not implemented in the right spirit of the constitution. They should raise a voice also. That is the basic need of the time, because time will not come again, and if at right time right voice is raised, it may be heard. Actually our viewers will think in that particular direction. And at the end, I would like to thank you very much for joining today, and spending your valuable time along with us, and giving the ideas that Dr. Ambedkar was having in his mind during his last speech. Thank you very much, sir, for joining today. We will be in touch with you, and we will invite you again. Thank you.
JB.
So it was Dr. Anandu Raj who had given his valuable time, and he had elaborated on the topic of the speech that Dr. Ambedkar had given on 25th November 1949, and he had elaborated and he had touched almost all the points that were delivered by Dr. Ambedkar. So this video will be there in this particular link, and I hope that you will pass on this message, this link to you, all the people who are in your network, and help in spreading the awareness of the Indian Constitution, because Indian Constitution is the path, is the way for the development of the nation. So please do like, comment, and share this particular video. And with this, we end this session today.